I never told anybody. Little Dewan never knew I was coming home. Okay, nobody knew I was coming home. When I first was incarcerated, my son, Little Dewan, he was just conceived. Ajane was 2 years old. I didn't really understand the significance, of parenting. I didn't really understand the true effects of a fatherless household.
It affects the family a lot, especially the children. They don't understand 100% why that parent is absent. Dawan's son, we spent, time with him. We try to do the best that we could. You could never take the place of another parent.
Statistically, everything went according to plan. You're supposed to, have a felony conviction. You are supposed to either been shot, stabbed, or you're supposed to rob somebody. You're supposed to know what it's like to carry a gun. You're not supposed to have a father in the household. And statistically speaking, you're not supposed to be a man.
When Dawan got transferred to Greaterford, that's when he got introduced to the FACT program.
FACT, F-A-C-T, stands for Fathers and Children Together. And this is a program that began inside the walls of Greaterford Prison. The FACT program was designed to have one-on-one visits with your child. The FACT program opened my eyes to the effects of a fatherless household. The FACT program taught me the importance of bonding with your children, spending time with your children. When I was released from Greaterford Prison, I had to make a clear, conscious decision. Are you in or are you out? There is no in between, okay? If you're in, don't play no games. Go ahead. You might as well not even go and report to your parole officer. You might as well go ahead and do what it is you're going to do. If you're out, then you're out, okay? You're going to further your career. You're going to go back and get some educational credentials. You're going to be a father to those children. You're going to be a role model to those children. You're going to be a superhero to those children. I came out with a plan of action. I can't expect for you to do it for me. I have to want it for myself. Career, resumes, application. We have to set goals. I just choke up talking about it because it's an experience like no other. This is incredible. I still can't believe I'm standing here. Dewan was upstairs in his class. I didn't stop, change clothes or anything. We coming straight from the prison. The principal had went up to little Dewan's class and said, I need you to come with me. I'm here to surprise my son at school today. He walks him downstairs and he said, my son was asking, what'd I do? And the look on little Dewan's face was like, it was priceless. Who's that John? Ever since that day, man, we've been inseparable. I am a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, full-time father. Okay, I don't have the money that I used to have when I was in my foolishness, but guess what? I can sit down and check homework. I can pick them up from school. I can make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and sit at the table and drink milk. Okay, we can get up and we go to the park. We work out. I make working out fun for them.
I went with my dad, the FACT program, and sister, and my cousin, and we see polar bears, lizards, snakes.
I feel that my children deserve better than me going back to prison. It's a true story. The relationship that I have with my children is a relationship that can't be replaced.
I got kicked out of my house. I've gotten into trouble in the streets. I got into trouble with the law. I've got into deep trouble in school, where I've always had a dream where I was gonna graduate high school. That never really happened. My dad, he used to tell me, just stay focused and stay away from the streets, so that I had a big future and just stop hanging out with the wrong crowd. But as a young and reckless kid, I just nodded my head and said, I know what I'm doing. When in reality, I didn't.
I got you right now.
I was walking with my cousin, and for the first day in our lives, we were going to class. We were just a minute late. The bell rang, and the security guard, he told us that we were going into detention because we were not in class. Obviously, we argued about it. I told him, our class is right around the corner. We're literally right there. he decided to grab us and shove us and threw us in the detention room. The police officers came. They were trying to control us, and at that time we were enraged and very angry, and we got into conflict with the police officers as well. The first time we tried to do good was actually our worst day. We ended up going to prison, and when I turned 17, my friends and everybody around me started going to jail, and things just got a little bit harder and a little bit more stressful. Eventually, the money was not there anymore, and my friends were not there anymore, so I ended up right where I started when my dad kicked me out, right by myself. And I started thinking, is this who I really want to be? I know I'm more than this. That's when I decided to turn my life around. In the morning, I knocked on my parents' doors. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. My dad opened the door, and he looked at me, and he hugged me. And he just told me, I knew you would come back. And all I did was cry, because it was hard. It was a real hard life. And I apologized, and I said, Dad, I'm sorry for being that way. I don't want to be that person anymore. And he said, you will never be that person again. For my closest friends are in prison. We still keep in touch, and they're very, very proud of what I have accomplished. The moment that I told them that I graduated and I got my GED, they were very excited, and their words was just like, just take over the world, because you can. But I will always keep pushing forward, and I will always keep fighting and become what my parents told me I would become, and make my dream come true.
My name is Kaya Anderson.
So what inspires you?
My mom, because she loves me and she makes me happy, so I don't have to be sad, because sometimes I feel sad and she makes me smile. And my brother, because he's funny, but sometimes he's annoying. And Gabrielle, because I saw some of her gymnastics move and I wanted to do those things, so she was teaching me and stuff, and it was so fun. And Miss Kathy, she's always here for me even though my mom's not here, and she makes me feel happy, and she let me get some things I want.
I got involved with Kaya through a foster care agency. Kaya's dad's been in Greaterford I had Kaya almost 2 years in March, so ever since I had her, he's been in Greaterford. She started visits with her dad.
I thought it wasn't going to go through, because always when my mom tried, always I canceled because she didn't have enough money. I was really shy. I didn't think that he was going to remember me, because he didn't see me in a really long time. And I was really surprised that I remembered how he looked. I was happy that I could see him again. My dad, he wants me to go live with my Aunt Thea, so I can meet more people on his side of the family. But I want to, but I don't want to lose my brother. No, come up top. That's what you need to come up top. That door was horrible too.
I was sad when she left, but now I'm better. Sometimes she can be a little bit mean to me, or very mean to me, and now since she's gone, I haven't had any problems.
Kaya was very nice to me. She helped me pick out my clothes for school. We shared a bedroom together. I love you, Kaya, and I miss you real bad. I want you to come back.
Tell me what happened, Kaya.
I moved to house 4 times, and it's really exhausting, because I did it a lot, but I'm kind of getting used to it. So I had packed my bags and I came here, and I don't miss Tyshawn because he's kind of annoying, but I do miss Gabrielle because I miss playing with her and having fun and having a little sister. And I can't wait to go with my aunt because she got her clearances and house check.
What message would you like to send to Tyshawn and Gabrielle?
Hi and bye.
I'm Phil. I've been fighting a death by incarceration sentence, more commonly known as life without parole, for 20 years now. And I spent the first decade of that getting into trouble, doing a lot of the same things that led me to prison in the first place. But really, in hindsight, I can look back and see that I was just trying to escape the reality of possibly never seeing the other side of this wall. But then I got introduced to restorative justice, and for the first time in 12 years of incarceration that I had in, I was face to face with the pain that I myself had caused some people. It was something that I did everything in my power not to think about. Restorative justice. It's a different way of doing justice that seeks to heal the harm by involving the people who have a direct stake in the situation, including those who cause the harm themselves. And I thought that just made all the sense in the world. And so it piqued my interest, and that interest quickly became a passion.
You're beautiful. You're beautiful. An inmate at SCI Greaterford. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
What's up, love?
How's it going?
Alright.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Phil does, is teach men inside what you did out there hurt people. And yes, you may have been hurt, which caused you to hurt people. So let's talk about it. Let's figure out what can you do to take responsibility for that, and 1, not do it again, and 2, make it as right as possible. You know, if you've taken a life, you can't go back and you can't bring that person back from the dead, but you can do good so others don't take a life.
So we want to take this opportunity to have a circle, which is one of the processes we do in our workshops. And as we see in the middle of the circle are the 3 R's: respect, relationship, and responsibility. And with that, we'll begin, and I'll open the circle. What we want to do now is share with one another a photo of a family member who has had a major impact on our lives, and to share a few words about why we chose that family member. So this is one of my favorite pictures because it captures the 2 people I love most in this world. My other half, Barbie, who has showed me that true love knows no walls, and my mother, Iris.
I never really thought about the effects of my lifestyle on my family, and so I continued on until finally I landed in prison for murder. As far as, you know, how my incarceration has impacted a lot of them, I know it's hurt my mother the most, you know, that's for sure.
What happened with the family is that we went through a rough time. We went through a lot because in my dream, I ever thought I was going to have a son in prison. And I wasn't ready for that. Felix has helped a lot of people over there in prison, and I'm proud of him. And I forgive him for good. I didn't have anything against him. I love him. I respect him. And he has helped me a lot too.
Restorative justice and the work we do here gives us an opportunity to move beyond the labels that society has placed on us, to be more than our worst act, and to believe that the story didn't end when we got sentenced. There's still a lot of writing to do. We hold the pen.
I love you.
I love you too.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.
We're going to close the circle now with a line from the book Rooftops of Tehran. Life is a random series of beautifully composed vignettes, loosely tied together by a string of characters and time.
In Pennsylvania, we have 50,000 inmates approximately. Those 50,000 inmates have 81,000 children. We know the national numbers, 7% of all the kids in America have a parent incarcerated. When you look at children of color, it's 1 in 9. When you look at poor kids, it's 1 in 8. And they didn't do a thing. There's a group of victims who historically haven't had a voice, and that's those children of incarcerated parents. These kids really need a chance, and we really need to understand that when we talk about re-entry and we talk about individuals getting out, we are all, as a society, invested in corrections' ability to create an environment where people can be corrected. We all benefit when someone gets out of jail and is a good parent. We benefit when they're restored to the community. And so we have to, as policymakers, as citizens, we really need to demand that from our system, and we really need to set up an environment where people can get out and get a second chance and not be disenfranchised because you have a criminal record. Someone has to give these folks a shot, and we're invested in that for today and for generations to come. I mean, if what we really want out of our criminal justice system is less victims, then we have to factor in what's driving the crime and address it. And for a small number of people, maybe they need to be locked up forever. I'm okay with that. But it's a small number of people. We should be using incarceration with precision. We should be using incarceration for life with precision. Historically, we've not done that. Let's jump forward and let's look at when somebody gets arrested. And what the research shows is that, first of all, if a low-risk individual goes in a county jail longer than 24 hours, they're more likely to commit another crime. So what that should tell us is that we need to be incarcerating people with precision. And that key decision is that bail decision. Does someone need to be kept pre-trial, or can somebody be kind of cite and release? The thing that gives me the most hope about corrections reform is this simple fact. Before I took this job, we saw a population increase of 1,500 inmates a year. We were adding a prison every 18 months. Since I took this job in January 2011, our population is down. Not only is it not increasing by 1,500 inmates a year, it's reducing by several hundred inmates a year. And some would say, several hundred out of 50,000 is not a lot. I would say several hundred coupled with eliminating the increase of 1,500 a year here in conservative Pennsylvania is a sign of hope. And the way we did it, focusing on outcomes, talking unapologetically about the conditions of confinement, talking about inmates like they're human beings, which, by the way, they are, and understand that we own the outcomes for them, or at least we own a piece of the outcomes for them, and we own all the outcomes for their kids, because their kids didn't do anything. I have lots of hope around it.
When you enter into prison, they can take away your clothes, your car, your house. They can remove you from your family, and they can strip you of everything that you've ever had that formed your identity. But the one thing that they can't take from you is your ability to create. I very quickly decided that I wasn't going to let this experience dictate to me how I view myself and what I do with my time. And I made a very conscious decision to use every second of my time in prison to better myself for when I come home. I was already exploring a lot of these kind of psychological and social constraints that are formed within societies and how they influence the formation of identity, both individually and collectively. The prison system was very influential in developing my, I would say, perspective on the world. I would say it radically altered my perspective of society outside of the walls. But again, I think the prison is just this site which kind of condenses, it's this microcosm of society where everyone's performing within the same confined theater and all of the elements in society get stripped away. So you get to experience things and see structures and systems and individuals for who they really are and what they really are versus the performative aspect that is very prevalent today. And I should say that my work's not abolitionist. I know that we need prison systems. There are people in prison who need to be in prison. A lot of those individuals have mental health issues. I was sentenced to approximately 6 years, and with good time, I served 5 years of that sentence. We like to think that today prison is more humane because it doesn't do corporal bodily exhibitions of punishment, that it is somehow better than what it used to be. I mean, the prison system itself is violence. It's not the violence of the individual or the collective confined within the prison system. It's the violence of the architecture, the walls, the structure of the prison system itself that fosters this violence. The prison system is Western society's most powerful technique of control. We use it not only to control individuals in prison, but entire communities and classes of individuals in society, because everyone's eventually released back out into the world and they go back to the same communities they were pulled from. It just creates this cycle. All of these things and elements and techniques of control are designed to oppress very specific elements of society.